Hello, everybody. It is so nice that we can all be together even though we're apart. Now, this is my second year as Chief Operating Officer of the Golden West chapter of the ALS Association. And during my time, I have witnessed firsthand a spirit of community that is really quite remarkable. And I know that every day throughout this federation, there are compassionate, talented people working tirelessly to do their part to advance the search for effective treatments and cures for ALS. And of course, these efforts are driven by our shared value that people with ALS and their families come first in everything that we do. And we celebrate those individuals through our work every day. It is the many people who are facing this disease who are helping to fuel innovation and drive progress in the fight against ALS. And the ALS Association established the Hero Award to recognize people living with or who have lived with ALS who have made an indelible impact. It is the highest honor given by the ALS Association and its 39 chapters, and those who have received this tribute have raised awareness and support and have sought to improve the lives of everyone impacted by this devastating disease, all while facing the challenges of ALS themselves. These unique individuals demonstrate strength and courage and inspire others to take action and believe in their own abilities to be a hero themselves. They have recharted their lives' course and have emerged as a leader in the fight against ALS. Now, I have the distinct honor of introducing an incredible human being, a hero, who, like many of the other recipients of this national award, took his diagnosis of ALS as an immediate call to action to help others. Kevin Heller was a West Point graduate, a U.S. Army veteran, an entrepreneur, and a triathlete, a loving husband and father of two. He always prioritized faith, family, and friends. For Kevin, it wasn't a question of when he would join our cause, but how. And that's why on the very day of his diagnosis, he called the Golden West chapter to learn more about what we do and to find out about a community event he had read about online called the Napa Valley Ride to Defeat ALS. From day one, Kevin was ready to bring his whole self to the fight against ALS. He and his family enlisted hundreds of friends, loved ones, colleagues, neighbors, partners, and followers from across the nation to support our cause. His team, #Give'emHeller, put their hearts and souls into the nation's top-grossing ALS fundraiser, the Napa Valley Ride. Since 2019, their efforts have included countless social media posts and shares by his supporters, local media coverage to raise ALS awareness, and more than 2,000 donations. To date, Team #Give'emHeller has raised nearly $400,000, leading the Napa Valley Ride to its greatest fundraising year ever, surpassing $1.2 million in 2019 and raising nearly $1 million in 2020, which, as we all know, was an incredibly challenging year for many, many reasons. At the same time that he and his family were still adapting to the news of his ALS diagnosis, Kevin's company, Looker Incorporated, was being acquired by Google. In the midst of all of this, Kevin shared his battle with ALS with his career connections in Silicon Valley, resulting in increased awareness, sizable sponsorships, and robust employee participation in his fundraising efforts. In addition, Kevin was a valued member of the esteemed Napa Valley Ride Planning Committee. In fact, in 2020, the Golden West chapter awarded Kevin with its inaugural Elevation Award at the Napa Valley Ride for his tireless efforts to elevate this cause and those around him to new heights. And even while his disease rapidly progressed, Kevin continued to blaze new trails as an ALS advocate. He worked with a special Google Research Artificial Intelligence initiative, Project Euphonia, focused on improving speech recognition technology to help people with atypical speech be better understood. He was an active member on the ad hoc committee advocating for a Lou Gehrig Day with Major League Baseball. This collaboration of families facing ALS, MLB players, coaches, executives, and ALS organizations, including the association, worked tirelessly on this initiative, which received the endorsement of all 30 teams last year. And Kevin was not alone in these efforts. His wife, Lesley, is a trailblazing ALS advocate herself, who also served as Kevin's primary caregiver. Their 2 children, Lauren and Michael, worked alongside their parents, hosting a number of different ALS ice bucket challenges and ALS awareness activities. Kevin's siblings, David, John, Carol Ann, and Kate, provided countless hours of support, spending time by his side, and even surprising him by hosting his sister's wedding during a visit so that he could attend and celebrate with so many loved ones. It is clear that Kevin was loved deeply by many, and this family and their community are examples of what we can do for someone facing the challenges of ALS. Sadly, Kevin's journey with ALS ended on January 5th, 2021. He remains a rare leader who defines what a true hero is to all of us. With strength and courage, he selflessly raised significant awareness and funds to benefit the entire ALS community. And even though he lost his ability to speak, he raised his voice to ensure improved access to care and to accelerate the search for treatments and cures for ALS, for those living with the disease today and those who will be diagnosed tomorrow. Let's watch this special video and learn more about this incredible man and his wonderful family.
Kevin Heller is a person who always looked at the world with the mindset of a glass that was half full rather than half empty. Growing up in New York, Kevin was the second of 5 children whose parents instilled a love of community, public service, and of the water.
My parents wanted to be sure we all could swim. I was often teased that I couldn't remember many days about my life because I was always underwater.
In 1979, the United States Military Academy at West Point recruited Kevin to swim. Following his graduation with a degree in engineering, he served in the U.S. Army for 5 years. In March of 1997, Kevin met his future wife, Lesley.
It was clear to me how special she was. 11 months later, I moved from Boston to California with a one-way ticket to be with her. We decided to buy a house together. In fact, we got engaged sitting on the front step. After spending the summer fixing it up, we got married in our backyard on September 12, 1998.
The couple welcomed their daughter Lauren in April of 2000, and then their son Michael in May of 2003. For the next 15 years, the Hellers were busy raising their kids. They were very active in sports, as well as with their work, school, and church communities. Kevin lived every moment to its fullest, and with personal grit and perseverance, he frequently participated in triathlons. Then, in early 2019, Kevin noticed changes in his health.
Swimming, which in many ways has been the single biggest part of my life, was also the thing that helped me determine something was wrong, being unable to do flip turns and keep the water out of my nose.
All of this was happening at the same time that Kevin learned that his company, Looker Incorporated, was being acquired by Google. For 6 years, he had led their sales team and helped build their tremendous success. It should have been the happiest time of his life. On July 16, 2019, doctors gave Kevin the diagnosis of ALS. He was 58 years old.
Ironically, my stepfather had ALS, and I watched my mom care for him and learned about the disease through their experience. And oh boy, I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that I would be experiencing that awful disease again, and that my husband would be diagnosed with the same disease. It's just unbelievable.
I had not previously known this, but learned that people who have served in the military are at a greater risk of developing ALS than those with no history of military service.
Fueled by a strong foundation of faith, family, and friends, Kevin's ALS diagnosis led him to connect with the Golden West chapter of the ALS Association. He immediately signed up for the Napa Valley Ride to defeat ALS and walk, asking what the highest fundraising record was for a team, and then promised to surpass it. The Hellers were committed to raising awareness about the disease. Kevin and Lesley joined their son and his high school's varsity water polo team in taking the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Their daughter Lauren also organized an Ice Bucket Challenge with her college volleyball team. While the disease affected Kevin's ability to be as active as he once was, it did not diminish his desire to achieve his personal goals.
Cycling was the one thing I'm still able to do since my diagnosis.
Kevin and his family enlisted hundreds of friends, loved ones, colleagues, neighbors, partners, and followers.
The blessing of having ALS is you get a community of people, friends, family, co-workers who come around you and support you. It's amazing. I mean, look around. We don't do it by ourselves. We do it as a community. We will one day find a cure to this terrible, terrible disease by continuing to do what you all do, what we all do as an ALS community. Have a great ride! Let's do this! And Team Heller! Team Heller! Woo!
With more than 80 supporters, Team Give 'em Heller raised more than $156,000 for the 15th annual Napa Valley Ride to defeat ALS and walk, a record for any individual team of this annual event, as well as for any event in the chapter's history. Kevin was also very active in research. He learned about an artificial intelligence system developed through Google called Project Euphonia. The project team worked to create a digital voice for him, using the voice-banked recordings he already had. Kevin was able to use this speech-generating device to share his story at a charity golf event hosted by San Francisco Giants' Brandon Crawford. It was the first time that the tool had been used publicly.
One of the things that I have learned from my battle with ALS is it is a disease that affects more than the person diagnosed with it. In many ways, it impacts the family even more.
When ALS first entered our lives, I wasn't really sure what it was. I didn't know how it was going to affect our family, what it would do to my dad. This disease, no matter how angering, how saddening, how awful and horrible it really was, ironically, it blessed us in so many different ways.
Even after he lost his speech, he was able to still participate with the help of computers and whiteboards and other forms of technology, where he would still make everyone laugh just as hard and smile just as wide.
Kevin was always a person who did his best to keep his promises. As the disease progressed, his family and network of friends and colleagues helped him to do this every day. Their love and dedication throughout his battle with ALS showed us all the impact that a community can have on so many others. Their never-give-up spirit inspired other teams to reach higher and raise more than ever before.
ALS has taken Kevin's voice, but his spirit and passion has never been stronger. He is an inspiration to all of us. We are now his voice, and we need to continue to fight this disease and work to ensure that Team Give 'em Heller does all it can to defeat ALS.
A special thank you to my dear mom, who traveled from New York to be with us today. Unfortunately, the progression has been very rapid for me, but we have not let that stop us from living and enjoying every day. Every single day is a gift. Recently, my son, Michael, surprised me with something very special. He asked his buddies to record video clips for me, to encourage me and to show their appreciation. Many came from the boys that were on my 5th grade basketball team. All the video clips had a singular theme that stood out to me. The message was timely, given the award that I just received, an award that I am very grateful for. But I am not the one who deserves this award, and let me explain why. I was struck by the fact that the boys talked about the team concept that we based our entire season on. It was an idea that we borrowed from Coach K, the Duke men's basketball coach, and his philosophy of the fist. It is basically that each individual finger on your hand can be very strong, but when they come together as a fist, they are exponentially more powerful. So that's how we played, like a fist. We played as a team. Team Lesley Heller plays the same way. It's not just me. I am only one member of the powerful Team Fist. I am joined by my teammates, my family, friends, the ALS Golden West chapter, my co-workers, and our church family. Please don't ever give up. ALS must be defeated.
We thank the entire Heller family for their willingness to share their story and to advocate for others impacted by ALS, and for their ongoing commitment to raise awareness and funding to advance the search for effective treatments and cures.
Please take the time to let the people in your life know how you feel about them. I can assure you it's a gift that we'll cherish forever. Also, I recommend that you record your voice as soon as possible. Thank you to the Google Air team, Julie, Pam, and Michael, who have been my teammates on this project. Hug and love your kids. I am so proud of my 2 amazing children and love them with all of my heart.
To give back, take action, and elevate others around you in the face of personal adversity is a testament of character. Kevin Heller was the embodiment of that ideal.
What a truly remarkable human. I want to recognize Kevin's daughter, Lauren, Kevin's son, Michael, and his best friend for 20 years, his wife, Lesley. Lesley, we'd love to invite you to speak and say a few words on behalf of the family.
Thank you, Sheri. Wow, what an incredible video and tribute to our dear Kevin. I am humbled and honored to receive the Heroes Award on Kevin's behalf from the ALS Association. Kevin was truly an amazing man, our hero forever. Thank you to the ALS Association, the Golden West chapter, who nominated Kevin and tirelessly worked to put that video together. It truly captured Kevin's spirit and who he was. He loved the Lord. He loved his family and his community. He saw the glass half full. He lived every moment to the fullest. He was and always will be our hero. As horrific as this disease was for Kevin and our family, we were also blessed by it. It strengthened our family and our friendships. It made us realize what is truly important in life. We rallied together and we formed Team Heller. During his 18-month battle with ALS, Kevin saw how he could make a difference. He touched the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, and changed us all for the better. He encouraged others to get involved and take action. In 2019, Kevin had the opportunity to speak to the riders before the Napa Ride for the Cure. He said, We will one day find a cure for this terrible, terrible disease by continuing to do what you do, what we all do as a ALS community. We don't do it by ourselves. We do it as a community. He is an inspiration to all of us, and we will continue to fight this disease and work to ensure that Team Give 'em Heller does all it can to defeat ALS. To the ALS Association and to all of the volunteers, keep doing what you're doing. You helped us so much. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and keep helping those battling this disease. And finally, I just want to thank my dear husband, Kevin Heller. Although our time here together on earth was cut short, I am forever grateful for the memories that we have shared together and the beautiful family that we created. I miss you terribly, but I know that we will be reunited in heaven, where you will be able to swim, bike, and run again with your ALS-free body. I will cherish your spirit here on earth forever. Kevin is our hero, and we thank you for recognizing him for this award. Never give up. Give him Heller forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Lesley. In closing, we both mourn and celebrate this extraordinary person, and we will carry on his fight until there are effective treatments and cures for this disease. And as Kevin himself would say, go Army, beat Navy, and give them Heller. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.